Welcome to our next module where we will be going on with weaponized pathogens and witchcraft. So like I said in the previous module, it is very important for us to understand what these weaponized pathogens are and what they actually do in the body. It's also very important for us to equip ourselves with knowledge and power so that we will know what we are up against. So let's look further about weaponized pathogens. So weaponized pathogens are designed weaponized pathogens that invade the immune system and also mingle with the immune system. So they are camouflaged, used different coatings. They use different coatings to actually camouflage these weaponized pathogens so that the immune system cannot target it and get rid of it. They bring about mixed seed within you. And if the immune system cannot identify these weaponized pathogens, they have the ability to also make fake peptides, which we will discuss, and that is also called prions. And the body cannot differentiate if it is actually a friend or a foe. So this is then also linked to SITs that we will discuss further in some of the next modules to follow, which is actually Satanic Information Technology. So what is the goal? The body has its own communication system, and they are after this communication system of the body. They want to get rid of it, they want to rewire it, and they want to tap into this communication system so that they can actually override the natural communication system of the body. They hijack the normal function of all the organs and the cells at any given time that they please. So with some products, they need your specific consent. So this happens when you are willingly taking an injection, pills, or food, etc. The injections brings it in to the cells in a very deep way to actually mess with the DNA. So the electromagnetic frequencies keep all of this tech upgraded within the body. You can also go and research a little bit more with regards to Dr. Edward Group. He also has a Telegram group that you can join, but he also has a YouTube channel where he really goes in depth with regards to how this technology works. He actually also works with live blood samples that he also takes from his clients, and they study it under a specific type of microscope, and they look at all the different effects and as well as all the different nanotech that are introduced into the body. It's fascinating to listen to him and all the research that has been done with regards to nanotech, and he also explains it in a very good way. So back to this module, weaponized parasites. We are going to look at that. So when we look at this picture that is actually on the screen now, we see that this is not something that is normal. It has been modified, and it has then by this way being introduced into the body. So parasites have their own emotions, and they can also project different types of emotions. And this they do in order for them to survive. So say, for example, if all parasites actually love sugar and they thrive in an environment where there is a lot of glucose. So what they will do is they will send out a signal to create that emotion, to project that emotion of, say, for example, being depressed. so that when you are depressed, you will always tend to look at things to up that depression. And sugar is one of them. It makes you feel good. So this is how they actually then also work with emotions and to project that. I have a course available on Telegram, which explains this more in depth. It is a course about parasites and how parasites are actually functioning in our body and what they actually do and the harm that they can cause. So you can just contact me privately if you are interested. So they are also creating synthetic pathogens. So that means pathogens that are not normal, that are not in our environment, that we've never even seen. They have the ability to create these pathogens. Remember, in the previous module, we spoke about biological warfare. They create yeast, they create different types of venoms and microplastics. They also use that in food to actually introduce all of these tech in the body. They also use inorganic minerals, and that also reacts as receivers and senders inside the body. So we have to use things like fresh minerals that we get from our soil, and then also things like organic fruits and vegetables, which we can actually juice, and we can take in those minerals instead of wanting to take it in supplementation form. So it can create cravings as well to keep itself alive, and it can deplete you of all of your vitamins and minerals. It can also cause chronic fatigue. So in my questionnaire that I have with my clients, I will always ask these types of questions. And then when we do the scan with the bioresonance machine, we find a lot of mineral and vitamin deficiencies. So one of them can be because of the fact that we don't get that in our foods these days, because our soil are so depleted of all types of minerals that's actually necessary for the body. But when I do the scan and I see that there are a lot of prions in the body, I have a good indication where all of those vitamins and minerals are actually going and why you are struggling with chronic fatigue as well. So what are prions? Let's look at prions. A prion is a type of protein that can cause disease in animals and humans by triggering normal, healthy proteins. So prions are actually weaponized proteins, and it is in inducing proteins with their normal folds to convert to an abnormal prion form. So these weaponized prions, which we actually know in our days, one of them is called the spike protein, is then also produced by the body because the body cannot identify this because it was encoded with something else when it was introduced to the body. So therefore, the body has absorbed it, and the body itself, the immune system self, has replicated this. And that's why we are struggling with things like shedding in today's life currently. And we have to understand that when we give our body the correct information, it can actually find and search for these things and actually deplete it and get rid of it by itself. But we also have to equip ourselves with knowledge to know how exactly does it work. There's a lot of people that are talking about conspiracy theories, and they will say, oh, it's not that bad. Where are you getting all the information from? But God says he gives the secrets to those who search it out. And I really believe that if we are searching out for the truth with our whole heart, we will really find the truth, and God will give us the correct knowledge to apply it with wisdom. So these weaponized prions mix with your proteins, and proteins are the building blocks of all the functions in the body. We will look at that just now. The nanotechnology makes these synthetic peptides, and they like to come after the body's physical communication systems. They make fake peptides, like I said now, which are called prions, and they are actually misshaped proteins, and it can cause havoc in the body. So, what are fake peptides and what do they actually control? So that can have a huge impact on your neurotransmitters, which is your brain and optimal brain function, your endocrine system, your nervous system, hormones, your organs, as well as your organ systems, the lymph, which is your detox system in the body. So a lot of times when I also find that my clients have detox problems, it is normally linked to prions and the presence of a lot of prions in the body. It also has a huge impact on the thyroid. And prions are fake proteins that are created by nanotech. So venom peptides can be created on demand in your body as they wish, because the blueprint of that is already present in the body. Remember that what they are doing is phase upon phase upon phase. And therefore, like I said, this is not something that was really designed to kill, although it can. But it was, nanotech was designed to control. And that is the main goal and purpose for nanotech. Also remember that these nanotech uses all of your minerals and energy to actually create something that is new. So what does these weaponized nanotech or weaponized pathogens actually attack? So it attacks the hypothalamus, it attacks the pituitary gland, the adrenals, the lymph, the digestive system, which will at the end of the day cause high inflammation in the body, where they can actually create disease. So when we look at the function of each part of these systems in the body, I also have a course available which explains disease and where disease actually comes from. And that also helps us to understand why we need to know why they are attacking the hypothalamus, the pituitary gland, the adrenals, the lymph, and the digestive system. Because all of these have to do with normal function in the body. And it's very good for us to equip ourselves with what each part actually does. So your hypothalamus is also the place in the body that is connected to your thoughts. So when we already have a lot of stress and our thought life isn't in order as it should be, this is also, the place from there that sends the signal to the pituitary gland. And the pituitary gland is that which sends the signal to the thyroid. And the thyroid and the pituitary gland and the hypothalamus work together actually to send out correct signals for hormone production. So a lot of times when we are looking at hormones and the function of hormones, yes, we have to look at body, soul, and spirit, but we have to take into consideration that a lot of these tech actually attack these parts of the brain. So here is just a picture. I love using pictures just for people to get a better understanding of of how the organ systems actually look in the body. So the one that you will see on your left-hand side, that is your lymphatic system. So your lymphatic system actually consists out of your tonsils, your thymus, your lymph nodes, your spleen. So a lot of clients that I also get really have a huge problem in their detox system. So a lot of times, yes, it is lifestyle based, but also remember when we're talking about lifestyle, we are also looking at all the produce and products that we get from local supermarkets that's not organic. And that's the reason why we are struggling with a lot of methylation problems, because this tick is introduced in all different types of food and vegetables, as well as canned food, um, millie meal, and so forth as well. So this is your digestive system on the right-hand side. And there you will also note that 80 to 90% of the immune system resides within the gut. So if your digestive system isn't working properly, that means that you will also have a low immune system, which means that your body is susceptible for a lot of illness and disease. So now we are going to look a little bit at mind control. I am just touching on the basics of how it works with regards to nanotech. There isn't enough time for me to really go into depth with regards to mind control. But this is something that we see in a lot of DID and SRA victims or survivors, that they have been exposed to mind control. So they are also advanced in SITs, and they are advanced in using nanotech as well, or the back parts that they have. So it's very important to note that all of the nanotech that is present can also be linked to things like mind control. So optogenetics, it is the neurobiological technique that uses light with genetic engineering to control GM neurons. Neurons are in our nervous system and in our brain, and they are living storage containers, and they spread messages to other neurons. So optogenetics hijacks this process, and it is also called gene therapy. And scientists have designed new neurons that are sensitive to light, and they add it to the genetic code to the neurons that they want to control. So that means they bombard the neurons with light to activate and deactivate certain neurons. So green algae are sensitive to blue light. The emphasis here again is blue light. Thus, scientists created a virus encoded with these genes to actually trigger the fear response. And it then enters certain neurons, and it also gets activated by light. So you will also note, you can go and do your own research. I've spoken about this in the previous modules about the LED blue lights that are being used in television, on your computer screen, on your cell phone screen, everywhere. And as well as in your house, where these LED lights are being used under the mantle of, yes, it saves energy, but this isn't the main reason why Biden and his whole administration said that it was law that they are going to incorporate LED lights, and that none of the other bulbs are going to be manufactured. So there is a specific reason for that, because they know that these lights and these devices can actually be used in mind control and mind control techniques. So they can stimulate the amygdala with light. So the amygdala is the part of the brain that is connected to the fear response and to the stress response. And this is the part that they actually want to activate. So they are busy with memory engineering, creating false memories in the hippocampus. So the CHR2 gene triggers the neurons that is connected with the memory, and bioengineering viruses can have this tech in it. And studies show that it can cross the blood-brain barrier. We have spoken a little bit about the blood-brain barrier. This is a specific barrier in the brain that was created by our Father to protect the brain. So they have now currently designed different things, different viruses that can actually go over different nanotech, that can move over the blood-brain barrier, that can go through those small holes into the brain and cause damage and have a huge effect on mind control. So here is also just a picture to show you how the old bulbs actually looked. And this is the bulbs that they are, the LED bulbs that they are currently wanting to implement all over the world. And it is for a specific reason as well. So people who have the bioengineering viruses within them can have a sensitivity to light. Promotion of LED lights are everywhere. And in addition, red, green, and blue lights can also trigger opsins that can be connected to mind control. So the eyes, the pineal complex, and the skin are important photosensitive organs. So it's very important to note that you can also adjust the settings of your different devices so that you can actually dim the lights so that it's not the blue lights. So you can actually switch that off. Another way is actually to use those glasses that have the red glasses that you can also use that can actually help and to protect your eyes as well. So something that I wanted to also highlight in this module is copper. So when we look at copper from a biblical perspective, we see the copper in different ways in the temple. And remember that our body is a temple as well. God says so in his word. So therefore, copper is something that's also very important for the body and the use in the body. So there is a specific part in the brain, in your brain stem. I'm going to show you the image after I'm speaking about it now. But there's a specific part in the brain stem that is connected to copper and the distribution of copper to the rest of the brain. So why is this important to note? Because copper is connected to fear and anxiety. So if this part of the brain stem gets attacked or damaged, this is also where fear and anxiety will increase, and they know this. So there is a specific way that we use lasers. I'm going to speak about that later, but where we use lasers as well to activate that part of the brain stem as well. So that's a wonderful way to know that there are different ways that we, through sound and music and light, that we can actually activate these genes and these parts that they have been switching off in a lot of people. So we have to look at our copper ratio as well. And we also have to do this in moderation. And we have to take a good supplement when it comes to copper. There is also some other studies that have shown that drinking from copper mugs or keeping your water in copper containers can actually also contribute to helping to lower fear and anxiety in the body. So it's very important for us to note that they have been knowing all of this about the body, and that, like I said, these information, these skills are really doctrines of demons and Nephilim that have been introduced, and that there is a lot of information that we need to equip ourselves with so that we can make an informed and good decision. So this is it for part 2 on weaponized pathogens and witchcraft. In the next module, we will be looking at viruses. What is a virus? As well as detox methods. And we are also going to look at different types of SITs, how to identify it and get rid of that from the body.